Now, from the Columbia Basin, your local news source, this is iFIBER 1 News, presented in high definition. The #1 source for real-time local news, local sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. With your iFIBER 1 News team, reporting news in real time as it's happening. From the iFIBER Communications HD broadcast studio in Ephrata, Washington, this is iFIBER 1 News, and it starts now.
Welcome to iFIBER 1 News. I'm Alan Troop, reporting news from around the Columbia Basin for Wednesday, December 18th. Tonight we report on the latest news related to the sanity of a man accused of the 2012 murder and Quincy's new police chief taking office. In sports, Bob Kirkpatrick reports on Moses Lake Christian Academy's games with Soap Lake and the Lady Vikings' recent win. Our spotlight story tonight is about a Royal City guitarist whose band was recently nominated for 2 Latin Grammy Awards. And we have the latest weather forecast for the Columbia Basin from the iFIBER 1 Weather Center. Our top story tonight, Adrian Rodriguez was found competent to stand trial for the 2012 murder of Tracy Fulbright. Proceedings for Rodriguez, a 29-year-old Moses Lake man, were placed on hold in June after his defense attorney requested an evaluation at Eastern State Hospital to determine whether Rodriguez was competent to stand trial. Rodriguez is charged with aggravated murder in the first degree in Grant County Superior Court for shooting the 29-year-old Fulbright north of Moses Lake. Following an examination by Eastern State Hospital staff, Grant County Superior Court Judge Antos found Rodriguez was competent to enter a plea and to stand trial. For more on the story, visit us online at ifiber1.com/news. Quincy's new police chief was sworn in yesterday. Here with the story is Cameron Probert.
Quincy's new police chief started this week. Former Portland Police Lieutenant Bob Heimbach was sworn in as the city's new police chief during Tuesday's city council meeting. The chief replaces former police chief Richard Ackerman, who was terminated in late May. Heimbach officially started work on Monday and said he's learning everything he can right now.
Well, the first start is my orientation and my getting used to what's going on here at the Quincy Police Department and just learning how they've been doing business for the many years, and then adapting and adjusting and looking for ways to improve the service delivery to the citizens of Quincy.
He stressed the importance of listening at this stage in the process. He plans on talking with members of city government and the public about their expectations and how the department can meet them. The council also approved a 2-week extension for former interim police chief Greg Minzer, moving him to deputy chief to help Heimbach make the transition. For iFIBER 1 News, this is Cameron Probert reporting.
Thank you, Cameron. Quincy is taking a proposed bike helmet ordinance to the public. The city council couldn't decide on the final details of an ordinance that would require children to put on a helmet when they are riding a bike. The main problem was a potential $15 fine. Parents of children caught riding without a helmet 2 or 3 times would have to pay the city. Council members Jose Saldana, Scott Libert, and Adam Rodner opposed having a $15 fine. Neither Libert nor Saldana agreed with the ordinance at all. Council member Tom Harris had proposed the ordinance and was agreeable to removing the fine, but wanted to put the ordinance in place as a way to help prevent head injuries. Mayor Jim Hembry suggested showing both versions to the public during a planned town hall forum and letting them decide. A 17-year-old Lakewood boy was sentenced for his part in a string of burglaries in rural Moses Lake. Nicholas Walker pleaded guilty to burglary in the first degree and theft of a firearm in Grant County Superior Court. He was charged as an adult. Walker faced up to 2 years and 3 months in prison for the crime. Both prosecutors and the defense attorney asked the judge to sentence Walker to less than the minimum. Prosecutor Angus Lee stated the recommendation came about because the defendant never had a firearm, was willing to take responsibility for his actions, and was following someone else when committing the crimes. Grant County Superior Court Judge John Nodell agreed, sentencing Walker to a year in jail. For more on the story, visit us online at iFiber1.com/news. Each of the people you see here has warrants for their arrest and is wanted by various law enforcement agencies. If you see any of these people, the DOC asks that you not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but to call police. You can also call the Department of Corrections at 509-764-6180 during the day or 509-762-1160 after 5 p.m. We will be back after these messages with the latest from our iFiber One Weather Center, sports, and more news.